Every delayed step postpones your 7 miraculous breakthroughs. Answered prayers await confirmation. As Eleanor knelt on the worn, wooden floor of St. Michael's Church, the soft glow of candlelight flickered around her, illuminating her earnest face. Hope spilled over like a waterfall from her heart. Her beloved Michael lay weak and weary at home, battling an illness that even the most skilled doctors could not comprehend. Each prayer whispered, each tear shed felt like a small offering to God, as she pleaded for a miracle. Suddenly, a voice boomed, resonating through the time-worn church like a clarion call. Every delayed step postpones your 7 miraculous breakthroughs, but answered prayers await only your confirmation. The congregation murmured in wonder, their hearts trembling with a mix of trepidation and anticipation. Eleanor felt the stirrings of faith within her. Shadows of doubt crept close, but the pastor's words gripped her spirit, igniting the flame of her belief in the possible. Days turned into a blur as she gathered her family around the table. The aroma of her homemade meals mingled with the smell of old papyrus pages from the Bible they read together each night. The scriptural promises echoed like whispers of hope in her ear, filling the cracks left by desperation. Yet, the grief of mounting medical bills began to crush her spirit. Have I truly done enough? She pondered silently with each passing day, shadows of uncertainty gnawing at her heart. As the village prepared for the annual pilgrimage to the revered sanctuary, the source of countless miracles, Eleanor felt the weight of her community's prayers. They stood with her like a fortress, yet she felt fragile, bare before the infinite sky. What if God's plans were not as she expected? What if the miracles lay just out of reach? In an impulsive attempt to seize control, she sought worldly solutions. But her efforts backfired, leading to disappointment and heartache. Doubts flooded her heart once more. With a heavy heart, she approached the sanctuary, a luminous beacon amidst the dark clouds of despair. Candles burned steadily, their flames dancing like tiny angels whispering encouragement to her anxious soul. Each step into the sacred space felt monumental. Eleanor inhaled deeply, immersing herself in the divine fragrance of sanctity. As she reached the center, her heart reverberated with a sense of divine presence, urging her to relinquish control, to release her fears into God's capable hands. During a gathering at the sanctuary, faith blossomed. People locked arms, forming a circle of unwavering belief. With a trembling voice, Eleanor lifted a fervent prayer for Michael, her spirit soaring higher with each word. Suddenly, a hush fell over the assembled body, and a ripple of energy surged through them. Just then, Michael appeared, restored and vibrant, the light of health emanating from him like the sun breaking through the clouds. "I'm home," he declared, the power of healing palpable in the air around them. Yet, as the village erupted in joy, Eleanor stood rooted, grappling with deeper questions. Would this miracle be enough to banish her doubts? As she gazed at the stained glass windows, a kaleidoscope of divine stories and visions came to life. She felt stirrings of the divine whispering sweet promises in her ear. What greater lessons were still waiting for her heart? In that moment, she realized the ultimate confirmation of her faith was yet to unfold. The air buzzed with divine mystery, leaving her yearning for understanding, a testament to the shared human struggle with uncertainty and the pursuit of divine hope. Eleanor awoke the next morning, sunlight streaming through her window. It felt different, as if the world held its breath, waiting for her next move. Michael was at her side, his eyes bright, but Eleanor's heart still rattled with uncertainty. He had returned, yet something felt unfinished. In the stillness of that sacred morning, she sensed a nudge, an urging to seek more than just the surface of her miracle. After breakfast, she stepped outside, the crisp morning air wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. The village hummed with life as people gathered for the day's events, but their laughter sounded muted against the backdrop of her bustling thoughts. Eleanor found herself drawn to the small hill where the pilgrims often prayed. The only sound was the rustling of leaves, dancing gently in the breeze. Sitting on the grass, she closed her eyes, feeling the warmth of the sun kiss her face. She recalled the struggles and the overwhelming love that had carried her through the storm. Yet, doubts still stirred like restless shadows. Why this miracle, God? What is it meant to teach me? She whispered earnestly, opening her heart wide. In that sacred silence, she felt a thrum of energy, like a gentle current flowing through her. It was a reminder that miracles were not simply one-time events. They were the beginning of a deeper journey. As she sat in contemplation, the village children's laughter echoed in the distance, a sound of innocence and joy that tugged at her heart. It reminded her that faith could be childlike, full of trust and wonder. Could I embrace that kind of faith? She pondered. Just then, a soft voice broke through her reverie. Eleanor? It was Clara, a friend from the village, with a smile that radiated warmth. We've been so worried about you and Michael. How are you doing? Eleanor smiled back, but felt the weight of her unvoiced worries. I'm grateful, Clara, truly. But part of me wonders. Wonders what? Clara's eyes mirrored her concern, like twin beacons of light. Why did Michael's healing feel like just the first step? I'm searching for something more, something to understand all of this. Clara sat beside her, taking her hand. Sometimes, the miracle isn't just what we see. It's what we learn in the process, the faith we build, and the love we share. Maybe the most profound blessings are not in the answers, but in the questions we ask. Eleanor felt a flicker of hope, the seed of understanding taking root in her heart. Perhaps her journey was not just about the miracle of healing, but about discovering a deeper purpose. A wave of peace settled over her, bringing clarity to her heart's storm. Gradually, the two friends began to talk about faith, love, and the intricate tapestry of life. The sun arched higher in the sky, casting warm golden hues around them, as if affirming their discussion. Eleanor felt the energies of unseen angels fluttering around, beckoning her to embrace the unknown. There was a shift, a subtle lifting of the veil. It dawned on her that every answered prayer also carried the invitation to a deeper revelation, the call to prepare for what was yet to come. As they rose to leave the hill, Eleanor's heart hummed with anticipation. What would the next steps reveal? What lessons would lay before her? With each step back towards the village, the air thickened with promise. Little did she know, the next chapter of her life was about to unfold in ways she could never imagine. What divine mysteries awaited her heart? Would she embrace them fully or hold back in fear? The path ahead lay shrouded in excitement and uncertainty, and she was ready to discover whatever God had planned. Eleanor walked down the hill, her spirit light yet brimming with questions. The vibrant colors of the village painted a scene of familiar warmth, but today, with every step, the ground beneath her felt charged with expectation. Clara walked beside her, quiet but present, the kind of friend who knew when words were unnecessary. Do you ever feel like there's a rhythm to life that we can't quite grasp? Eleanor mused, her voice barely above a whisper. It was as if she was speaking to the wind. Like we're just part of a larger symphony? Clara nodded thoughtfully. Life is truly a melody, isn't it? Each of us plays a note. Some are high, others low. But each is essential. Eleanor chuckled softly. She loved how Clara could draw comfort from any analogy, turning the simplest ideas into profound truths. Then why does it feel like I'm caught in a pause? Like I've missed my cue? Maybe you're not missing it. Maybe you're preparing for it, Clara suggested. There was a gentle weight to her words that wrapped around Eleanor's heart, bringing warmth. As they reached the village square, the scent of fresh bread and flowers filled the air. The market was in full swing, with people chatting and bartering. Eleanor forced a smile, but as she watched families gather, her heart felt heavier still. What was it that she was missing? Suddenly, a familiar figure approached Father Joseph, the village priest, who always carried an air of calm that seemed to quiet the surrounding chaos. He offered a reassuring smile as he came closer. Eleanor, my dear, you seem lost within your thoughts today. Father, I feel grateful for what has happened with Michael, but there's a void in my heart. I keep waiting for clarity, for a sign. He studied her intently, his wise eyes sparkling like jewels in the sunlight. Eleanor, sometimes signs come not from the outside, but from the stillness within. There lies a treasure of understanding, waiting to be uncovered. Before she could respond, a commotion broke out nearby. A child had stumbled and dropped a basket of fruits, leaving apples and pears rolling in all directions. In that moment, the bustle of the crowd quieted, a collective breath held. Eleanor watched as several villagers rushed to help the child, their hearts displaying kindness in unison. In the midst of the flurry, the child beamed with pure joy when the villagers reassuringly gathered the fallen fruits, laughter and cheerful words replacing his tears. "Look at that," Clara whispered, awe-filling her voice. "It's all about community. The beauty of faith manifests itself, not just in miracles, but in our willingness to show up for each other." Eleanor's heart swelled at the sight. She realized that perhaps it was not just about waiting for the next great miracle. Perhaps the miracle was happening all around her, within the hearts of those she loved, waiting to be lived out together. The warmth of this realization enveloped her. Could her journey of understanding be intertwined with her community? She felt a pull, a desire to dig deeper into this thought. "Father," she said, her voice trembling slightly, "is it possible that in seeking answers, we discover our part in this sacred dance of life?" "Exactly, my child. Sometimes, each question is a step in the dance. Each pause prepares you for the next move." Eleanor smiled, resonating with his words. Hope flickered anew in her heart. As she stepped further into the square, embracing life's symphony, she felt ready to engage in whatever lay ahead. What new revelations would unfold as she leaned into her community? And how would her journey intertwine with the lives surrounding her? With curiosity and faith lighting her path, she was eager to drift closer to the center of the melody, but would she recognize her role in it? Eleanor stood at the heart of the village square, watching the vibrant scene unfold. Laughter echoed, the kind that made her heart feel lighter, yet she sensed a deeper current swirling within her. She wanted to join that joyful song, yet uncertainty lingered like a shadow at the edges of her thoughts. "Isn't it beautiful?" Clara said, her voice filled with wonder. "See how everyone is connected? It's like one big family." Eleanor nodded, feeling the warmth of her friend's sentiment. "But it leaves me wondering, what part can I play? Where do I fit into this tapestry?" Father Joseph, still nearby, overheard and smiled kindly. "Each thread, however small, contributes to the larger picture. Sometimes, the quietest notes hold the sweetest melodies. Embrace your unique sound, dear one." His words ignited a flame of inquiry within her. She thought of how she had always admired the courage of others in the village. They seemed to embody faith effortlessly, acting in love without hesitation. Did she have that same capacity? Suddenly, a commotion to her left captured her attention. A group of teenagers was gathered around an older man with a gnarled walking stick. He was sharing tales of his youth, his eyes sparkling with nostalgia as he described the adventures that had shaped him. Eleanor couldn't help but smile. The joy in his voice resonated through the air, weaving strings of connection among the listeners. "Look at them," Clara mused softly. "He is sharing stories, but he is also giving them a glimpse of history, hope. Each person carries wisdom, a treasure of experience." Eleanor's heart tugged at her. "I have stories too," she whispered, a sudden rush of emotion swelling within her chest. "I've faced challenges, moments that shaped me." "Why is it so daunting to share?" "Fear can easily hold us back," Father Joseph said, sensing her struggle. "But every story matters in the eyes of God. Speaking your truth can illuminate paths for others. You never know when your journey might offer hope to someone lost." His words wrapped around her like a comforting embrace. Could speaking out be her own personal miracle? The thought filled her with both excitement and trepidation. Perhaps she too could weave her narrative into the village's melody. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting warm golden hues over the square, Eleanor felt a pull to step forward, to share her experiences and learn from others. She took a deep breath. There was a stirring inside her, urging her to be bold. "Would you join me?" she asked Clara, glancing toward the gathering. "I think I want to share something. Just a small piece of my story." Clara beamed, her excitement infectious. "Yes, it's a beautiful time for that. Your voice deserves to be heard." Eleanor's heart raced as they moved closer. The crowd's laughter softened, and she felt a wave of warmth envelop her. Here was her symphony, waiting for her note. With each step she took, she felt lighter, as if the weight pressing down on her was slowly dissolving. She recalled Father Joseph's wisdom about pauses in the dance of life. Perhaps this was her moment to join in, to share the rhythms of her heart. But just as she was about to speak, a sudden silence fell over the crowd. All eyes turned towards her, expectancy written on their faces, as if the village held its breath in collective anticipation. Eleanor felt a pulse of divine energy coursing through her veins, a sense of invitation wrapped in stillness. Could she truly harness this moment? Would her voice resonate as she hoped, echoing the sacred dance of their shared lives? Deeper questions filled her mind and heart. What story would come forth? What breakthrough awaited her just beyond this leap of faith? She took a deep breath, surrendering to the moment. Each heartbeat echoed the promise of tomorrow, waiting just beyond a whisper. Eleanor felt the air thickening with expectancy. It was as if a hushed prayer had swept through the village square, binding everyone in a sacred moment of shared vulnerability. She glanced around, seeing the faces, each one adorned with curiosity and encouragement. Hearts were open, ready to receive whatever she was willing to share. Closing her eyes for just a heartbeat, Eleanor sought the stillness within. What would be the melody of her truth? Memories danced in her mind as years of laughter, of tears, of faith tested and refined through trials. She had worn her burdens like a cloak, but now she sensed an urge to shed that weight. I grew up here, she started, her voice trembling but clear. Like many of you, I've felt joy and sorrow, moments of light and shadow. There were times when the darkness felt overwhelming, times when I questioned if God was truly with me. A murmur rippled through the crowd, voices of understanding and empathy. She could see their nods, shared experiences threading their lives together like a tapestry already woven. When my mother fell ill, I thought my world was shattering, Eleanor continued, feeling the warmth of connection strengthen her resolve. I prayed, and I felt so lost, but every single time I cried out, I sensed a whisper deep inside, reminding me of hope. In the midst of pain, there were glimmers of grace. Friends lifted me, their kindness becoming a lifeline. She noticed Father Joseph's approving smile and Clara's encouraging nod, bolstering her spirit further. Eleanor's heart swelled with gratitude. I learned that faith isn't always about visibility. Sometimes, it's the unseen hands that carry us the love that doesn't demand recognition. It's the quiet moments when we realize we aren't alone. Her voice gained strength, fueled by the collective energy of the crowd. Each of us bears stories, burdens transformed into blessings. I'm still learning to share, to release the fear that keeps me silent. But here, with all of you, I feel it lifting. And if my journey can inspire even one soul in this beautiful family, then I'm ready to trust in this voice within me. With that, the crowd erupted into applause, some faces shining with tears of joy and understanding. Eleanor felt the power of unity, a symphony of faith echoing through the square. Each round of applause felt like an affirmation, echoing the depths of connection they were creating together. Yet amid that beautiful acceptance, a flutter of uncertainty lingered. What if her boldness was just a momentary spark? What if more was waiting on the other side of this leap? As the applause faded into a comforting silence, she caught Father Joseph's gaze. His expression spoke volumes, reminder of the divine journey unfolding. A sense of divine mystery enveloped her, stirring within her a deep craving for guidance. What now? She whispered, both to herself and to God. What comes next in this sacred story? As the sun dipped fully beneath the horizon, the first stars began to emerge in the evening sky, twinkling like tiny moments of hope waiting to be discovered. The air was thick with promise, and Eleanor knew her heart was poised on the brink of something more. What divine encounters awaited in the shadows of tomorrow? Would she be brave enough to keep exploring, to uncover every miracle waiting beyond the boundaries of fear? Eleanor stood there, heart racing, as the echoes of her words slowly faded into the night. The applause felt like waves washing over her, but they also carried a weight of expectation. She opened her eyes and took a deep breath, inhaling the cool, sweet scent of evening blossoms mingling with the warm glow of relationships blossoming around her. There was something electric in the air, a divine invitation whispering in the stillness. Father Joseph stepped forward, his presence both calming and encouraging. "Eleanor," he said, his voice rich with warmth, "what you shared tonight was a seed planted in our hearts. As you've found your voice, so too will others. Isn't it remarkable how our journeys intertwine?" A soft smile graced Eleanor's lips. She felt it, the pulse of shared faith, a tapestry of lives woven together through trials and triumphs. She looked into the crowd, absorbing their stories, each face telling a tale of struggle, healing, and hope. But within her, a flicker of doubt began to stir. What if this moment was fleeting? She had opened a door to her heart, but would she be able to walk through it day after day? What if the next step was more daunting than the last? "Eleanor," Clara's gentle voice broke through her thoughts as she approached. "There's a certain weight you've carried all these years. You've named it and claimed it tonight, and that takes immense courage." "I feel lighter," Eleanor admitted, the heaviness in her chest easing. "But I also feel lost. What am I meant to do with this newfound freedom?" Clara's eyes sparkled with a knowing light. "You've begun a journey, my friend. Each step forward is a revelation, and sometimes it's in the stillness that the clarion call comes. Trust in the unfolding. You may be surprised by what arises." Eleanor considered Clara's words, the truth resonating deep within her. She felt a gentle nudge, almost like a voice whispering from the depths of her being, "Embrace the unknown." As if to affirm her thoughts, a breeze danced through the village square, rustling the leaves of nearby trees. It felt playful, yet there was a depth to it, as if nature was attuning itself to her own heart. Maybe divine encounters await not just in the grand gestures, she reflected aloud, but in the small, quiet moments we often overlook. "Yes!" Clara exclaimed, the excitement visible on her face. "And those moments can lead to breakthroughs we never anticipated. Simply remain open to what God lays before you." With renewed hope, Eleanor looked skyward, her spirit lifted by the twinkling stars. Each shimmer felt like a promise, guiding her to the miracles yet unseen. She thought of the burdens binding her to the past, and for the first time, dared to envision them transformed into something beautiful. What if I started each day with expectation? She wondered, a smile breaking across her face. What if I discovered the miraculous in the mundane? The thought ignited within her an eagerness she hadn't felt before. Hope bloomed, stretching outward, filling the spaces that doubt once occupied. And when the hesitation returns, she pondered, a hint of concern creeping back in. "Remember this moment," Clara urged. "Hold onto it tight. The path may twist and turn, but you're not alone. Keep speaking your truth, and watch the world respond." As Eleanor embraced the possibility of adventure, a warmth spread through her, a reminder that faith was a journey filled with surprises. She was poised to step deeper into her purpose, ready to chase the whispers of the divine. Yet, beneath the surface of her newfound confidence, a question lingered, compelling her to peer into the mystery of the horizon ahead. What awaited her in the dawn of each new day? Would she be able to recognize the blessings, even the hardships, as a part of the divine design? Tonight was just the beginning. Little did she know, the next step would beckon her into a realm of unexpected miracles. The following days unfolded like petals of a flower, each one revealing a new aspect of Eleanor's journey. She rose each morning, embracing the dawn's gentle light. With gratitude in her heart, she repeated to herself, "Today, I choose to see the miracles." Clara's words echoed in her mind as she moved through her daily routine. The scent of fresh bread from the local bakery wrapped around her, offering warmth like a comforting hug. Even small moments carried a glimmer of the divine. A child's laughter, a smile exchanged with a neighbor, the soft rustle of leaves, she began to cherish them all. It was as if each experience was an invitation from God, calling her closer, yet the nagging doubt remained in the corners of her mind. What if this was merely a fleeting moment of excitement? What if she returned to the doubts and fears that had long overshadowed her? Determined, Eleanor decided to reach out to the community she held so dear. Gathering courage like armor, she invited her close friends for a small gathering. Let us share stories, she proposed, the moments that carry meaning in our lives. As her friends filtered into her home, Eleanor's heart beat in rhythm with anticipation. They settled into her cozy living room, the flickering candlelight casting a glow of intimacy. One by one, they began sharing. Each story unfolded like a precious gift wrapped in vulnerability and hope. Sarah, a single mother, spoke of her struggle to find peace amidst chaos. There are days when the weight feels unbearable, she confessed. But on those days, small blessings shine brighter like the joy in my child's laughter. Her words hung in the air, resonating deeply with everyone present. Life is a series of moments, isn't it? Father Joseph interjected, his eyes twinkling with wisdom. It's easy to overlook what lies beneath the surface. But sometimes, it's in our trials that God writes the most profound chapters of our lives. As each voice rose and fell, Eleanor felt a profound connection, a sacred dance of shared experiences illuminating their collective faith. She marveled at how their stories mirrored her own journey, tales of resilience, revelation, and divine encounters often disguised as everyday moments. Inspired, Eleanor took a deep breath and shared her own experience the night she had found her voice. That moment was but a seed planted, she explained, a reminder that we are not defined by our past, but by the courage we possess to move forward. The atmosphere shimmered with understanding. It felt as if a veil had been lifted, revealing a shared truth. Life is a tapestry woven with threads of both struggles and triumphs. As the evening drew to a close, a warmth of unity enveloped the room. Eleanor looked around at the faces of her friends, and in that moment, she realized something profound. Each conversation, every shared story, was a step deeper into purpose, a stepping stone toward the miraculous. But just as she felt her heart swell with joy, a sudden thought struck her. What if each open heart led to healing in unexpected places? What if their gathering could spark change beyond their circle into the very roots of their community? Her heart raced with this new flame of possibility. But could she carry it forth? Could she be a catalyst for transformation? As she pondered these questions, Eleanor sensed an awakening within her. The night felt alive with divine anticipation, and she could almost hear the faint whisper of purpose urging her on. If one gathering could offer such warmth, what might happen if she stepped beyond her comfort zone even further? What awaited on the horizon of her faith journey? Was she ready to embrace not only the joy, but also the challenges that lay ahead as she began to weave her own story into the larger tapestry of their community? There was so much still to discover. Eleanor awoke the next morning with a soft light filtering through her curtains, each beam spilling onto her bedroom floor like the promises of a new day. The thoughts of last night lingered, swirling in her mind like the petals of a blooming flower. As she rubbed the sleep from her eyes, a firm resolve took hold. She understood that these conversations were not just casual exchanges, they were invitations to something deeper, something holy. With a renewed spirit, she wandered into the kitchen, the scent of brewing coffee mingling with the morning breeze. She made a simple breakfast, but each bite felt like a celebration of life, a quiet homage to the grace that sustained her. The blessings she noticed each day began to feel like threads weaving her closer to God. Later that afternoon, Eleanor felt an urge to take her transformative intentions beyond her cozy home. She decided to visit the local community center. The place always buzzed with activity, filled with laughter, conversations, and the palpable resilience of neighbors coming together. Perhaps this was where her journey could expand, connecting more hearts and stories. As she stepped into the center, the vibrant colors of the murals caught her eye. They depicted scenes of fellowship and perseverance, the very essence of their community. The energy was infectious. Here, she thought, every moment could be holy ground. Eleanor. A familiar voice called. It was Marcus, an older man with a gentle smile that radiated warmth. It's good to see you. Are you here to volunteer? Yes, I am, she replied, her voice steady yet excited. I want to help however I can. Together, they joined a group sorting donations for families in need. As they moved through clothes, toys, and canned goods, Eleanor couldn't help but witness the beauty in their shared purpose. Each item represented stories and struggles, and as she handed them over to others, she felt a gentle tug at her heart. "Every item here holds a piece of someone else's life," Eleanor said, reflective. "It's like we're collecting hope." Marcus nodded, his eyes glistening with understanding. "You're exactly right. Hope is what binds this community together. Your warmth lifts spirits, and that's a miracle in itself." Inspired, Eleanor resolved to create a weekly storytelling circle here, aiming to weave lives together as she had done with her friends. With such a diverse community, she imagined the multitude of experiences they could share, each thread contributing to an enormous tapestry of hope and healing. As she spoke with Marcus about her idea, enthusiasm bubbled within her. What if we could turn this into something larger? What if we could inspire others to share their stories too? "Nothing is impossible when hearts unite with a common purpose," Marcus replied, a knowing smile spreading across his face. "You'd be surprised how much one voice can resonate. You never know how far it'll travel." Eleanor's heart soared with a vision. It began to dawn on her that the seeds she planted last night could flourish into something beautiful. God had not only called her to her friends, but to the entire community. What will happen if? She mused aloud, her mind racing with possibilities. Could we truly change the fabric of our community through these shared stories? As the afternoon transitioned into evening, Eleanor couldn't shake the thrill of anticipation. The flickering lights inside the community center mirrored the flame igniting in her soul. There was so much potential to uncover. What awaited her as she stepped into this broader vision? Would the stories of her neighbors echo the healing she had experienced or ignite something even greater? Could each shared moment lead them toward a collective miracle they had yet to comprehend? With those questions swirling warmly in her spirit, Eleanor took a deep breath, ready to take the next step. Eleanor spent the next few days immersed in thought, her mind buzzing with ideas and possibilities. The excitement of her storytelling circle filled her with energy. Each evening, she found herself drafting plans, imagining the faces of those who would come and share. The thought brought her warmth, as if God himself was gently encouraging her forward. On a clear Saturday morning, Eleanor returned to the community center, her heart leaping in her chest. She knew she needed to officially announce her idea. The center was alive with activity, and as she stepped inside, she could almost hear the echoes of past stories waiting to be shared. "Hey, Eleanor," said Marcus, catching her gaze. "Are you ready for the big day? Your announcement?" "Yes, I am," she exclaimed, fingers fidgeting with excitement. "I can't wait to share the ideas I have. I feel this could really bring people together." With a nod, Marcus guided Eleanor to a small gathering area where chairs were set up in a semicircle. A few early arrives chatted casually, and as Eleanor made her way to the front, she felt the weight of their attention fall upon her. "Hello, everyone," she began, her voice trembling slightly. "I'm so grateful to see your familiar faces. I wanted to share something that's been on my heart." With each word, Eleanor painted a vision, a circle of sharing where vulnerabilities could bloom into strength, where every voice mattered, and where their collective stories would weave a rich tapestry of hope. She spoke of laughter, tears, and the healing power of connection, and as she spoke, the room started to hum with anticipation. "And we can call it Tapestry of Truth," she concluded, her heart racing. "It'll be a space for each of us to share our journeys. What do you think?" A brief silence followed, the weight of her words hanging in the air. And then a hand shot up. It was Sarah, a woman known for her vibrant spirit. "I love that. Stories mend us, don't they?" A wave of agreement sprinkled around like confetti. Smiles bloomed across faces, nods of approval rippled through the group. Eleanor's heart surged. This was the moment she had envisioned, the moment of divine connection. But beneath that joy, a whisper of doubt fluttered within her. Would they be brave enough to share their truths? "Let us launch it next week," Marcus suggested, grinning widely. "I'll help you spread the word." As they made plans and set a date, Eleanor felt a palpable energy. But Even amidst this joy, insecurities crept in. What if no one showed up? What if the stories that emerged were too raw, too painful to bear? Could such a circle truly foster the healing she imagined? That night, as she tucked herself into bed, those doubts lingered, swirling in the dim light of her room. She turned to prayer, whispering her fears into the night. God, guide this effort. I ask for courage for open hearts, and for you to be present in every shared story. With emotions looming, bedtime seemed to stretch into eternity. Sleep wrapped around her lightly as she clung to hope, resting in the knowledge of his promise. Every miracle requires a leap, she reminded herself. No step taken in faith is ever in vain. As the days passed and the tales grew louder in her heart, anticipation for the upcoming gathering turned into eagerness. Yet as the time drew near, the air crackled with uncertainty. Would the circle truly fulfill its purpose? Would they witness the healing that came from vulnerability? As Eleanor stood on the threshold of that moment, she couldn't shake the feeling that something incredible was about to unfold. What waited beyond? Would every person that gathered echo the grace she sought to share? That night, she jotted down another thought in her journal, an echo of her yearning, a question that seemed to pulse with promise. What if the stories we share tomorrow transform our lives forever? Just as Eleanor closed her eyes, enveloped in prayer, she sensed that divine energy burgeoning at the edge of her spirit, whispering that their journey was only just beginning. Eleanor woke up the next morning with a sense of eager anticipation coursing through her veins. Today was the day. Today, they would gather at the community center to embark on their journey into the tapestry of truth. She rushed through her morning routine, the sunlight streaming through her window lighting her path like divine guidance. As she arrived at the center, an electric buzz filled the air. Volunteers were setting up chairs, decorating the space with warm colors that felt inviting, almost sacred. Eleanor's stomach fluttered with excitement and nerves. The whispers of doubt began to creep back, but she shook them off. She was not alone in this sacred endeavor. One by one, familiar faces began to fill the room, friends, neighbors, and even some who she hadn't yet met. Each arrival felt like a bead threading into the tapestry they were about to create. Eleanor took a deep breath, feeling the love and hope in the air around her. As everyone settled in, Eleanor stood before them, vulnerability prickling at her heart. Welcome to the tapestry of truth, she began, a tremor in her voice. This is a safe space where we can share the threads of our lives, our trials, our triumphs, our stories. Every story matters, even the ones cloaked in sorrow. They hold the power to heal. With that, the first story unfolded. Sarah stood up, her eyes brightening as she shared her journey as a single mother. Her voice quivered, yet within it danced the strength of love that carried her through storms. Each word dripped with truth, drawing nods of understanding from the listeners. They were not just hearing a story, they felt it deep within their souls. As the circle continued, more voices rose like flowers blooming in spring. Stories of grief and loss mingled with tales of hope and joy. There were tears, laughter, and moments of stunned silence. Each story resonated with every heart in the room, wrapping everyone in warmth, healing, and a sense of unity. Eleanor sat in awe, absorbing the energy of shared experiences. She could feel God moving among them, binding their hearts together with the threads of hope. In the midst of that sacred gathering, she realized her dream was coming to life. This was not just about her journey, it was about all of them, interwoven in a tapestry of faith. As the circle came to a close, a profound silence settled over them. It was the kind of silence where the Spirit of God whispered sweetly. Eleanor felt a surge of gratitude rise from deep within. Her heart warmed at the sight of raw strength, community, and healing manifested before her eyes. Thank you for sharing, she said, her voice thick with emotion. Today, we witnessed something powerful. Each of us came with our burdens, our stories, but together we created a wellspring of hope. May we carry this light beyond these walls. The gathering erupted in applause, a beautiful melody of appreciation that filled the room. Eleanor's heart swelled as she absorbed the magic of the moment. But the journey wasn't complete yet. David, an older gentleman with a sage-like presence, stood up and cleared his throat. "I want to share something, too," he said. Eleanor could feel a ripple of excitement ripple through the crowd. David spoke of life lessons weathered over the decades about faith, resilience, and community. He shared how small acts of kindness caused ripples of change, igniting hope in unexpected corners of life. Let us continue sharing our stories. Let this be the first of many gatherings where we uplift each other, shining the light of truth into the world, he urged. Eleanor nodded in agreement. He was right. This was only the beginning. They would keep weaving their stories, spinning threads of love and understanding, bringing larger waves of change to their community. That evening, as Eleanor returned home, she felt different, transformed. She had taken a leap of faith, and through that, a significant revelation emerged. It wasn't only about her miracle, it was about how they could grow together in faith and love. She realized she wasn't merely seeking to document her journey, but to foster connections that would amplify the miracles in their lives. Eleanor settled into bed that night, feeling a calm rush of peace. She could hear the echoing laughter and heartfelt stories lingering in the corners of her mind. With renewed faith, she spoke softly into the night sky. "Thank you, Lord, for this gift of community and love. I'm ready for more. Let me be a vessel of your light, revealing your truth in every step of the journey ahead." With that, she surrendered to slumber, cradled by the warmth of expectation. Tomorrow held more promises, and Eleanor felt ready to embrace them. As the dawn broke anew, so too did the call to share this divine journey of connection, one that would ripple into far-reaching corners, forever a testament to faith, hope, and love. She could already hear the whispers on the horizon, inviting her deeper into the unfolding story of her life. So, dear friend, here is where we end our journey today, but a new one awaits you. You need to subscribe now to never miss another exclusive faith story. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to help feed the algorithms so more lives can be touched. Don't hold back, comment your reactions and cherished testimonies about the ending. And for the love of faith, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this divine manifestation. Let us spread the hope together, one story at a time.